Hey everybody, what's going on? I'm Frozen with Outdoor Adventures, and man, thanks for joining me. We've got 9 more days until the start of my PCT thru hike, and I want to talk about the electronics that I'm going to be bringing while I'm out there, not only for hiking, but also for vlogging my trip so I can share it with all of you. So let's just dive right in it. This is one of the categories that took me a long time to figure out. I spent a long time testing many different power banks, and I still don't like my decision fully, but we'll get into that. Anyway, the workhorse of the PCT vlogging and thru hike, really, because I'll be using a lot of apps on here for navigation, is my Pixel 8 Pro. It's a 256 gig model. I stepped up with the storage size just to get, be able to have more clips on here at once. Didn't really have any problems with the Pixel 3 on the last hike, and the camera again is just supposed to be amazing. I'm already pretty impressed with it. It has the Pro version has like a telephoto lens in it. It has astrophotography capabilities, time-lapse astrophotography, regular time-lapse, slow motion, anything you've come to expect from a flagship phone these days. The battery is fairly large. It should last an entire day or more is what I'm hoping, especially on airplane mode and battery saver. And then we'll come back to this for the specific apps toward the end of the video. To hold the phone and, kind of do like walking away shots or, selfie stick things, I went with a Ulanzi selfie stick and tripod. And I like this because it's a ball joint, so the head moves around real easily, and it also extends a decent way, like, I don't know, about 10 inches or so. And this is going to give me a little bit better angles than I was able to achieve on the Appalachian Trail, where I was using a little ultra pod that was about, I'd say it was about this high off the ground. So that's something that I'm enjoying. This will probably live in my water bottle pocket, and I'll just reach back and grab it. All right, let's talk headlamps. Let's get more of the hiking stuff out of the way before we talk about the vlogging. All right, so the headlamp I'm bringing, really no surprise. For a lack of better model, or things that I've researched at least, I'm going with the Nitecore NU25, but the Generation 2. Now, I like the Generation 1 model way better than the 2. It was just simple, effective, it worked well, it lasted forever, but the battery is finally starting to go on mine, so it's not lasting as long, and I feel like I'm going to need something beefier for being able to wake up early as far as the Sierra section, or, I might just want to hike earlier each day so I can make the miles up, because I am on a time constriction. I do need to finish the trail in 141 days or less, just to be back to help my wife out with kids and going to school. So this thing is USB-C rechargeable. In fact, all of my devices are USB-C, and it has a red light, it has a spotlight, it has a kind of a like a spread light so you can see your way around, and it has a battery indicator, and it's lockable. So it checks all the boxes. The button configuration is a little confusing, but I have gotten used to it over these past several months and using it day to day. So Gen 2 Nitecore. And I did actually replace the stock UL band with my own shock cord. I just think it's, not even for weight savings. It is a little bit lighter than the stock band, but it's just more comfortable. And it's what I'm used to from the last model that I used to mess around with. All right, this is a maybe item. This is the Flextail Tiny Pump 2X. No, the Flextail Zero Pump, excuse me. And this weighs about 2 ounces, 2.1 with the Nemo Tensor, like kind of pad inflator, adjustment nozzle. And I can just pop this on the pad. I can step away. I don't have to hold it there and just hit the button and blows up my pad. There is a little bit of noise associated with this, but I think it's very acceptable compared to the previous pump that I was using, which was the Tiny Pump 2X from the same vendor. And it, again, USB-C rechargeable. Maybe. I might bring this, I might not. By the time y'all see this video, I should have kind of my decisions on this. If I don't end up bringing this, I'm just going to use my pack liner to inflate my sleeping pad, which I've done many times in the past, so not a big deal. Headphones. I'm someone that, I really get motivated by listening to music, and You saw me listening to music a lot on the AT. I want to reduce my music listening on the PCT, but I also do want to be respectful if I'm taking a video, or not a video call, but a phone call out there, or editing especially. And this is what I decided on. This is the Anker Soundcore X10 or 10X or something like that. They're water resistant, dust resistant. They're basically for working out, right? And the earphones can operate independently of others. So one can be charging, one can be used, and they're magnetic. They just like kind of lock into place. They should last for about 8 hours, and then the charging case, which is also the storage case, acts as a battery for those. So it gives me 3 additional charges. So it should be plenty of juice for at least editing and listening to some music while out on the trail. Another cool feature is, if I decide to use both of them and, if I'm really tired one day, it's not going to happen a lot, but I can put these into a mode where the microphones activate and I can hear the world around me without the world hearing the music that I'm listening to. It's called transparency mode, and it's available on many, many headphones if you're not aware. Now, one of the requirements for me to be able to hike the PCT, my wife wanted me to grab a personal locator beacon for my safety and her sanity, okay? And I chose an InReach Mini 2 by Garmin. Again, it's USB-C rechargeable, and been doing a lot of testing on this thing. It works great. I can check in with my mother and my wife, let them know I'm okay. They can see me on an interactive map at a tracking interval of my choosing, and we can send two-way messages back and forth. There's no keyboard on this thing. I can text from this, but it also pairs with my phone via a Garmin Messenger app, and then I can kind of type just like I would a text message, and they can send messages right to the Garmin. So there is a subscription service associated with that. I've had really bad customer service experience with them so far. It took about 4 weeks for my wife to be able to finally be able to message me, but we'll get that sorted out in a review later on. Let's get into my least favorite area of this topic, because this is very, very heavy. I'm warning you right now. I am going to be vlogging in 4K resolution, and that is going to require a lot of power. So thinking about that and knowing that I also want to be able to talk to my family, let's just dive right into this. Let's knock this out of the way here first. This is my gallium nitride, or Gan Prime. You might see that word being thrown around. Anker 67 watt wall outlet. It has a retractable plug on it, so it doesn't poke holes in anything or any of my gear. It has 2 USB-C ports and a USB-A port. I can use both USB-C ports at the same time and still get a maximum of 30 watts per port, which is what I'm gonna need to power my 2 ridiculously overweight battery banks. Now, these are laptop specific battery banks. Now, I would have loved to go down to 2 20,000 milliamp batteries. I think it was called an Anker 535, which was a PowerCore 20,000. That battery bank was recalled last June or July due to suspicion of a Connecticut or Massachusetts house fire. And they recalled it. Literally, the power bank that would have been best for me at 12 ounces was recalled due to a fire. And the most comparable one weighs now, instead of 12 ounces, it's 17, and I think it's 17 and a half ounces each. Now, Frozen, why are you bringing, 38,000, no, more than that, 48,000 milliamps of power with you on the trail? Well, let me tell you. So one of these power banks gives me 3 charges on my Pixel 8 Pro. How is that possible, you may ask? My Pixel is I think it's a 6,050 milliamp battery on my phone, right? This is a 24,000 milliamp, so you'd expect that I'd get at least like 4 charges out of it. Unfortunately, due to the power conversion from using the batteries in here and then transferring that to my phone or any other device, you're losing a lot through heat and the voltage conversion. So because of that, I'm only able to get 3 charges out of this giant battery bank. So we're looking at 6 charges for both of them. Now, I could have just got, a lighter 20,000 milliamp. I actually wanted to go Nightcore. In fact, here it is right here. I have a Nightcore 10,000. milliamp battery pack, but I've been using this for a couple years and I've already have issues with this. I can charge this all night. It appears to be at 66%. And then I'll plug in my phone and it will die immediately. It also gets extremely hot. And I thought that maybe I had a defective model, so I got the NB20000, which is twice as big, and the same thing happened. I returned that thing to Amazon and I kind of gave up on my power bank search. It's getting too close for me to keep searching. I just needed to make a decision. So most people hiking the PCT or any through hike are not gonna need something like this. Something like a 10,000 milliamp battery will completely suffice, but you gotta remember what I'm doing. 4K footage is no joke. I'm gonna be editing on my phone and I need the juice to be able to talk to my family. And I remember that a 20,000 milliamp battery was extremely limiting to me on the AT. I literally had to make sure I was in a town every 4 to 5 days, depending on usage. And I just wanted to be able to stay out for 7, which is, you know, a charge here, 3 charges, 3 charges. So unfortunately, that's what I'm bringing. If something amazing comes out in the meantime, I'm definitely going to ship these back home and go with, you know, something lighter, because this is, like I said, meant for a laptop. Let's talk about charge time on this. Another thing to consider, I don't want to spend a lot of time in towns, but I do want to be able to juice this thing up fairly quickly. Now, these are 30 watt USB-C inputs, and they charge in about 4.5 hours, which they advertise 3.5 on the box and on their Amazon page. So you should do your own testing. Don't just expect the specifications on the website to be accurate. Those are meant to be in a lab where no voltage regulations are occurring. But from my numerous tests, we're talking 4.5 hours. I can charge both of these at the same time, or top them off, etc., etc. So very heavy Anker PowerCore 24,000 battery banks. And I do believe that I can take both of these on the airplane with me. For those that do a lot of travel, please let me know. I know it's based on watt hours, but I can't find any solid evidence on carrying 2 of them. All right, cables, real simple. I have a 6-foot USB-C cable and I have a 3-foot USB-C cable. 3-foot is meant to just charge anything that I'm not holding in my hand, while still giving me the ability to use a 6-foot cable to plug, you know, this into the wall, charge my phone, and not be tethered, you know, 3 feet from the wall. So I think that's what I'm gonna need to complete all this crazy vlogging stuff. So the final thing I want to talk about is my hard drive that I'm going to be bringing. Yes, I'm going to be bringing a solid state Samsung T7 Shield. The T7 is a water resistant, it might be waterproof, dust proof, shock proof. I can drop this thing, whatever. Not planning on dropping it from any extended height. Also USB-C, comes with a very fast cable. One of the crazy things that I did on the AT was I put together a documentary. It's called the Appalachian Trail, A Journey of the Soul. I'm not gonna push it, but if it makes sense, I do plan on putting another documentary together when I get home, something that's more professionally edited. I'm gonna be using my phone to edit. So, you know, like an Adobe Premiere, I can get a little bit better of an edit on, and I plan on using the original footage, which was not something I was able to do on the AT. I had the original edited footage, right? So the footage that was uploaded straight to YouTube, I had that, but no B-roll really, no bloopers, which I really regret. I had so many bloopers that I meant to show you guys, but I just couldn't keep it all on my phone. It wasn't big enough. So this is a 4 terabyte hard drive. It should last me the entire way, and I think this is gonna be very cool. That way I don't have the music on top of my videos, which was extremely annoying to edit with on the Journey of the Soul documentary. So as far as apps go, I'm going to be using, as for my video editor at least, a program called KineMaster. I'm very familiar with this editor as I used it throughout the entire Appalachian Trail through hike. I know what I'm doing on here. I actually tried to switch editors. I used LumaFusion, but the Android support for this thing, it sucked. So I actually got a refund from the company. It sucked so bad. And you know, maybe one day they'll release some more support for Android. But KineMaster, I can do all my editing on here. I even have a tutorial if you're interested on kind of what I go through on a daily basis. All right, the next app is not really an app, but it's my notes for the PCT. I'm using Half Miles Notes for not only resupply, but kind of mile by mile. And then I also have some of the reroutes via GPX file that I can import into Gaia GPS, which I'll also be using while out on the trail. All right, some of you may remember Guthook's guide, now called Far Out. I'll be using that on my phone, and if you're not familiar with this app, it's pretty darn cool. I use this extensively on my AT through hike, and it lists like the elevation profile. It has a quick towns and services menu where I can see what's coming up on each section. It has a points of interest map. Say I'm looking for where's the nearest water from me, and it'll tell me where the seasonal streams are. And the best part is that it gives comments and pictures in the app, which is very, very, very nice. So say that there's not a lot of water running from a seasonal spring. Some hiker might just put a comment. It's like, hey, just make sure you avoid this. There's no water here. I walked 2 miles to get to water and then found out that the stream was dry. I'll know that stuff in advance. The hiking community is really great on using this, and this is how I'll be pretty much planning my water and possibly town stops. And then finally, I have this little thermometer app. It's kind of gimmicky, but it does give me a point of interest as far as what the temperature is outside, or if I'm feeling under the weather, I can actually hold this to my temple and then take my temperature fairly accurately, to be honest with you. And that's about it as far as apps. So I just want to throw something out there just to kind of give you an idea how this is going to work as far as vlogging. Like I said, I'm going to be editing on my phone and probably only editing in town to save battery life. If I realize that I don't need both of these chargers, I'll send one back or maybe pick up something smaller. We'll have to see. Everything points to that I'm going to need both of these. And it just, can you see I'm like not looking forward to carrying these because they're so heavy, but it is what it is. The videos will be delayed by 2 weeks. Now I'm doing that because there's got to be a delay or else I'll get behind and then I'll just constantly freak out like I was doing on the AT. A week and a half delay on the AT was just not enough. So I'm giving myself some extra time. If I get really, really behind, just know that I'm okay. I haven't died. I haven't, went home. I haven't gave up or anything. I'm just behind, and I will catch up with the videos as we progress. Now, I do plan on taking 3 or 4 days off to come back early May to see my son and kind of do his birthday with him. It's something that I'm so happy that I'm able to accomplish. My parents actually bought me a plane ticket to come back to see my son. So I'll be in Pittsburgh first week of May. And I'll be looking for a ride to get back to probably Wrightwood when I get there, but might see a delay whenever that happens, just another couple days. And we'll pick right up where I left off on the trail. Episodes will be 2 days incrementally. So episode 1 will be day 1 and 2. Episode 2 will be day 3 and 4, and et cetera, all the way up to the finish of the thru hike. If you have any questions or want to ask me something, I'd appreciate it if you didn't email me, but actually post it in the comments section of each video. I can't answer everybody, so just know that I'm reading all your comments, but remember there's, I think, 77,000 of you now. Not that all of you are going to be watching the PCT hike, but that's more than double that I had on the AT, and it was a struggle to keep up with comments. So if you really want to know something, and just ask, but if you guys know the answer to some of the questions that you're seeing in the comments section, by all means, man, help me out. Let them know. If it's something like, what hoodie are you wearing? Just let them know. It's a Lightheart Gear hoodie. And I'll be so appreciative toward you. Thank you so much. You want to come out and see me, or maybe you're planning to help me out on the trail, bring me to town, set me up with a resupply, whatever. I'm going to be using an email address while I'm out there, and that email is frozenhikes@gmail.com. I will then send you my PCT cell phone number. Remember, I said I'm going with Verizon, so I'll have a new number that I can hand out. That's how this will all work. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Next week, you'll see my Laurel Highlands Shakedown hike, or my Quahana. hike. There's a lot of rain right now, so depending on which region has less rain, that's where I'm going. And in a couple weeks, guys, I'll be on the PCT. You can follow me on Instagram, Frozen's Outdoor Adventures, or right here on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the trail, everybody. Can't wait.